Archangel Michael says, a major arrest is about to happen, and you are involved. Open immediately. Listen closely, my child. Do not rush past these words. Do not dismiss the stirring in your chest that made you stop, that made your eyes linger, that made your spirit lean forward. I speak now not to frighten you, but to prepare you. I am Archangel Michael, and I come clothed in truth, not illusion. What I say may feel heavy at first, but it is weight that breaks chains, not hearts. This is an angel message of protection, a divine whisper cutting through the noise of your life, calling you to attention in this very moment. A major arrest is about to happen. These words echo because they are real. They echo because heaven has already moved. And yes, you are involved. Not as the one to be shamed, not as the one to be destroyed, but as the one whose story is finally being corrected. Feel that truth settle into your bones. It is not a vague prophecy or a fleeting dream. It is a divine decree, set in motion by the unerring hand of the Creator. Heaven does not speak idly. When I, Archangel Michael, bearer of the sword of justice, deliver this message, it is because the scales have tipped, and the hour of reckoning draws near. You have lived too long under misunderstandings. Too long watched by eyes that never truly saw you. Too long carrying blame that was not yours, suspicion that clung like dust to your spirit, whispers that followed you into rooms where you tried to start fresh. Picture it now, those shadowed figures in your past, their glances like cold fingers tracing your steps, their murmurs weaving a web of doubt around your name. Heaven has not been blind to this. I have stood beside you in moments when you felt watched, judged, cornered, even when you could not name why your spirit felt uneasy. In quiet nights when sleep evaded you, in crowded days when isolation wrapped around your heart, I was there, my presence a shield you could not see but always felt as a faint warmth against the chill of injustice. There are actions unfolding now that were set in motion long ago. Choices made in secrecy, behind closed doors and whispered agreements. Plans formed with confidence that truth would never surface, that the sands of time would bury every trace. Those involved believed time would protect them, like a fortress built on shifting dunes. They believed fear would silence witnesses, binding tongues with threats unspoken yet deeply felt. They believed confusion would erase accountability, scattering the pieces of the puzzle so no one could reassemble them. But truth does not age, my child. It waits, patient as the eternal stars, sharpening itself in the forge of divine will. This is the spiritual awakening from false blame you have longed for, the moment when hidden sins can no longer hide. This arrest is not sudden to heaven. It is the result of patience, of evidence aligning like stars in a long-awaited constellation. Masks slipping when people thought they were secure, words spoken in carelessness, documents unearthed from digital graves. You are involved because your life crossed paths with what was hidden. Your name was spoken where it should not have been, twisted into narratives that served their deceit. Your image was used to shield others, an innocent face pasted over guilty hands. Your silence was mistaken for weakness, when in truth it was the quiet strength of one who trusts in higher justice. Hear me clearly, you are not being punished. You are being vindicated. This is divine justice unfolding, a prophecy from Archangel Michael that rewrites your story from victim of whispers to vessel of truth. There were moments you sensed something was wrong but had no proof. Moments you felt pulled into situations that did not match your heart, like a river diverted from its natural course. Moments when your intuition whispered, "This is not clean," yet you stayed still because you did not want trouble, because your soul craved peace over confrontation. Heaven saw that restraint. Heaven recorded that integrity in the great book of lives, where every heartbeat of honesty is etched in light. Those instances were not oversights, they were threads in a divine tapestry, woven to expose the darkness when the time was right. Now the ground shifts beneath your feet. Not in earthquake violence, but in the steady rumble of truth rising. Authorities on earth move because authority in heaven has already spoken. What was buried comes to light, clawing its way from graves of denial. What was twisted straightens, like a sapling bent by storm winds finally reaching for the sun. What was falsely assigned returns to its true owner, shedding the ill-fitting cloak of blame you never chose. And yes, when this unfolds, your name may surface. Not as a criminal, but as a key, the missing piece that unlocks the door to revelation. Do not let fear grip you at this. This is your angel message of protection, assuring you that heaven's gaze is upon you, favorable and fierce. Do not fear that your involvement will destroy you. Fear is the language of those who have something to hide, a coward's dialect that binds the innocent as surely as the guilty. You have nothing to hide. Even your mistakes were human, not malicious, stumbles on a path not of your making. Even your confusion was honest, a fog imposed by others' shadows. You did not build harm. You survived around it, navigating minefields with a grace heaven commended. Imagine yourself now, standing in a vast courtroom of the cosmos, where the judge sees every nuance of your heart. Verdict, not guilty. Liberated. Whole. There may be questions asked of you. There may be moments when you must speak carefully and truthfully, your words measured like arrows from a steady bow. Do not exaggerate the shadows to cast them larger, that diminishes your light. Do not minimize the light to appease the dark, that betrays your truth. Simply speak as you lived, plainly, with the clarity of one who walks in divine light. Heaven stands behind simple truth, amplifying it across realms. When you open your mouth in honesty, my sword gleams at your side, cutting through lies before they form. I know your heart trembles at the word arrest. I know images rush your mind. Handcuffs glinting like false stars, doors slamming like judgments from on high, faces from your past leering in vindication. I know anxiety tries to tell you that trouble follows your steps, an old shadow puppeteering your fears anew. That is an old lie, whispered by the enemy to keep you small. This moment is not coming to trap you. It is coming to free you, like a bird from a cage long rusted shut. Spread your wings, my child, the sky awaits. For too long, others used your presence as cover, draping their sins over your innocent frame. Your kindness as camouflage, a gentle veil hiding their thorns. Your quiet strength as a shield for their schemes, borrowing your integrity to prop up their facades. That season ends now. The arrest is not only of a body, but of a pattern, of manipulation woven through years, of control exerted in subtle tyrannies, of injustice that thought it could hide behind confusion and chaos. Picture the unraveling, threads pulling free, one by one, until the entire garment of deceit lies in tatters at your feet. You may feel exposed at first, like standing in bright light after a long night in dim caves. Eyes squinting, skin tingling under the scrutiny of truth's gaze. That discomfort is temporary, a shedding of old skin. Light reveals, but it also heals, mending wounds unseen, illuminating paths forward. Do not retreat from it. Step fully into the radiance, for this is the divine justice unfolding in your life, the spiritual awakening from false blame that prophets have foretold. There will be voices urging you to stay silent out of fear, familiar tones from those who benefited from the fog. Ignore them. Silence served its purpose when protection required it, a sacred pause ordained by heaven. Now clarity requires courage, a bold exhale of truth into the world. Speak when asked, your voice steady as mountain stone. Move when guided, following the nudges of intuition honed by trials. Rest when overwhelmed, leaning into my everlasting arms. This is not a solo journey, it is a procession led by angelic hosts. You are not alone in this unfolding. I am not leaving your side. I go before you into conversations you have not yet had, softening hearts and loosening tongues. I stand beside you in rooms you have not yet entered, my presence a bulwark against hostility. I remain behind you, guarding what tries to follow from the past, those spectral doubts and accusations that once haunted your dreams. Feel my sword at rest now, not raised in battle, but planted firm as a banner of victory. This battle is already turning in your favor, the tide of justice swelling. Some relationships will change once truth surfaces. That is not loss, that is sorting, like chaff from wheat in the divine threshing floor. Some people will distance themselves because exposure makes them uncomfortable, their own shadows writhing in your light. Let them go without grudge, heaven sorts alliances by purity of heart. Others will finally see you clearly and feel regret for doubting you, tears washing away years of misunderstanding. That is their burden, not yours, release it to the winds of grace. You do not need revenge. Justice is already moving, inexorable as the dawn. Vengeance belongs to the Most High, and He delegates it to faithful servants like me. Your role is peace, your reward freedom. This moment marks a turning point, a pivot in your soul's chronology. After this, your name carries less weight and more freedom, no longer burdened by invisible chains. After this, doors open that were once locked by suspicion, opportunities flowing like rivers unbound. After this, you breathe easier without knowing why at first, a subtle lift in your spirit signaling chains broken. Trust the timing, even if you do not understand every detail. Heaven rarely explains everything in advance because courage grows in steps, not floods. One foot forward, then the next, that is how mountains are climbed. You have enough strength for the next step. That is all you need. Draw from the well of divine provision, endless and pure. Meditate on this angel message of protection daily, let it anchor you amid the storm. Open immediately, my child, not only the lids of your eyes, but the deeper gates of your spirit. Let awareness rise gently, like dawn, not with panic or force. You are not being summoned into fear, you are being invited into clarity. Stay alert, yes, but do not tense your shoulders. Awareness is not anxiety. Awareness is calm attention. Let your eyes be wide enough to notice patterns, pauses, repeated names, recurring numbers, strange delays, sudden accelerations. Let your heart be tuned, like a finely strung instrument, sensitive to whispers that do not shout. You will know them not by volume, but by resonance. Truth does not scream. It settles. Be grounded, not defensive. Sink your roots deep into what you know is right, not what you suspect, not what you fear, not what others have projected onto you. Defense is the posture of someone under attack, grounding is the posture of someone who cannot be moved. Let your stability come from truth, not from explanation. You do not need to convince the wind that the mountain exists. Stand firm. Let reactions pass around you. Let accusations exhaust themselves against your stillness. Truth has weight. Lies depend on motion to survive. Be truthful, not dramatic. Speak plainly, like bread broken at a table, simple, nourishing, sufficient. Do not garnish your words with excess emotion. Do not decorate them with embellishment or apology. Truth does not need perfume. When asked, answer directly. When not asked, remain silent. Silence is not weakness, it is discernment. There will be moments when others expect you to defend yourself passionately. Resist that pull. Let facts speak. Let timelines align. Let evidence surface in its own hour. Truth was designed to do the labor you were never meant to carry. And watch, my child. Watch how pieces begin to align with a precision that surprises even you. Phone calls you never expected will arrive, not frantic, not dramatic, but oddly calm, almost procedural. Documents long buried will surface like lost keys found in the pocket of an old coat, quietly, undeniably. Confirmations will come from unlikely sources, people you never imagined would speak, much less on your behalf. You will not need to chase them. They will find you. That is how alignment works when heaven moves first. Consider now the broader canvas of your life. These events are not confined to one moment, one confrontation, one outcome. They ripple outward, touching areas you once thought were unrelated. Careers that felt stifled by invisible ceilings will suddenly find air. Opportunities will open not because you chased them, but because the fog lifted. Friendship strained by suspicion will either soften into honesty or fall away cleanly, without bitterness. Both are mercy. Inner peace, something you once tried to earn through endurance, will begin to arrive without effort, settling on you like dew on morning grass, light yet unmistakable. You were not entangled by accident. This was not poor judgment, nor naivety, nor weakness. It was appointment. You were placed where light was needed, not where comfort was guaranteed. Darkness reveals itself when light arrives, not because the light is aggressive, but because darkness cannot coexist with truth. You did not seek exposure. Your presence triggered it. Others will hear fragments of your story and recognize their own experiences mirrored back to them. Healing multiplies that way, quietly, person to person, like candles lit from a single flame. Now revisit those uneasy moments, not with regret, but with gratitude. The time you walked away from something that looked profitable but felt wrong, even when no one else understood your hesitation. The inner burn you felt then was not fear, it was discernment. The conversation where you chose restraint over reaction, swallowing words that would have escalated conflict. That was wisdom forming muscle. The nights when confusion pressed heavy on your chest and you poured it out in prayer, tears soaking into silence. None of those tears were wasted. Heaven is meticulous with what you release in sincerity. Each moment was preparation. Each choice shaped resilience in you, layering strength beneath softness. Now, as the consequences approach for those who operated in deception, you may feel a strange mix of relief and solemnity. This is normal. Justice is not entertainment. It is alignment. As accountability looms, understand this: those who acted in falsehood will face themselves first. That is always the hardest reckoning. Illusions crack not all at once, but in spreading fractures, spiderwebbing across stories they once believed would hold. Let that be enough. You are not called to gloat. You are called to remain clean. Prepare practically, my child. Clear your spaces, both physical and digital, of remnants tied to that season. Old messages that carry emotional residue. Objects that anchor you to confusion rather than clarity. Do this gently, not with anger. Release is not punishment, it is hygiene. Journal truths plainly. Write what happened as you know it, without interpretation, without speculation. Facts anchor memory. Should others ask, You will not need to search your emotions for answers, you will simply recall what is written. Surround yourself with steady spirits, the divine call to alignment. In a world swirling with chaos and fleeting emotions, the first whisper from the divine realm is clear: surround yourself with those whose spirits feel steady, not reactive. Light bearers. Those true emissaries of heaven are not the loudest voices in the room. They don't shout for attention or chase viral drama. Instead, they shine through quiet consistency, like ancient lighthouses enduring storms without flicker. Choose company that calms your soul rather than inflaming your anxiety. Seek out souls who build peace, not those who feed on endless cycles of conflict and gossip. Old narratives will tug at you, those familiar stories laced with misunderstanding and betrayal. They arrive uninvited, through a late-night text, a family gathering, or a workplace whisper, trying to reel you back into exhausting explanation loops. You'll feel the pull, the urge to justify, defend, or relitigate the past. Resist with everything in you. You are no longer obligated to participate in confusion. The angels remind you that your energy is sacred, it belongs to your purpose, not to mending fractured perceptions. Each morning, step into the power of spoken truth. Affirm aloud, even if your voice trembles at first like a leaf in the wind, I am vindicated. Truth flows through me like a river of light. I am guarded by unseen wings. Sound carries authority when infused with sincerity. Your words ripple outward, shifting atmospheres before you even notice. Rooms soften. Conversations realign. What was once heavy lifts as heavenly forces respond to your declaration. The moment of encounter, breathe into assurance. When the pivotal moment arrives, be it a phone call piercing the silence, a message lighting up your screen, or a face-to-face confrontation, pause and breathe first. Inhale deeply, letting slow breath anchor your nervous system like roots delving into fertile soil. Peace is not the naive absence of threat, it is the profound presence of divine assurance wrapping around you. You'll sense it settle like a cloak, not heavy with burden, but light and protective, woven from threads of angelic guardianship. Answer simply, with the clarity of one who walks in truth. Yes, I remember. This is what I know to be real. Do not volunteer speculation or rush to fill the silence with unnecessary words. Let pauses work their holy magic. In those sacred gaps, others will connect the dots you never needed to illuminate. The Holy Spirit moves in the quiet, revealing what pride or denial once obscured. Watch carefully as your words land, not as sharpened weapons meant to wound, but as unshakable cornerstones. Structures built on falsehoods tremble when the true foundation shifts. Skeptics, once armored in doubt, will nod quietly, their defenses cracking. Those who believed in you from the shadows will exhale in shared relief, their faith validated. And you? You'll notice a subtle but profound transformation, the weight you've carried for months, years even, begins to dissolve. Your posture straightens instinctively. Sleep deepens into restorative slumber. Your breath lengthens, filling lungs once constricted by stress. This is not the fleeting high of adrenaline, it is the deep release of heaven's justice unfolding. Breaking patterns, from personal victory to generational legacy. Grasp this truth deeply, this moment transcends one outcome, one individual, or one overdue correction. It is a divine pattern break, shattering chains of injustice that echoed across family lines, toxic workplaces, fractured communities, and even hidden heart wounds. Your obedience to truth, choosing integrity when it cost you comfort, relationships, and opportunities, now births a legacy. Others will retell your story, sometimes imperfectly through whispered conversations, sometimes briefly in prayer circles, sometimes amplified on platforms you never sought, like viral YouTube testimonies or social media reels. Let them share it. You do not need to micromanage the narrative. Heaven amplifies integrity without your permission, using angels as couriers of confirmation. Picture it, divine messengers hovering just beyond sight, carrying your testimony to ears ready to receive. What you endured becomes seed for others' breakthroughs, proof that light pierces the darkest lies. Doubt may still slink in like a shadow at dusk, whispering temptations. What if this turns against me? What if I'm misunderstood yet again? Meet those thoughts with calm authority, as Archangel Michael wields his sword. Justice from the throne is precise, never reckless. It separates like a surgeon's skilled hand, distinguishing healthy tissue from what must be removed. You are not left exposed, you are clarified, polished like gold refined in fire. If relationships fracture in this process, view it through heavenly eyes. This is not devastating loss, but merciful removal of strain. Cords that drained your spirit snap cleanly, making space for aligned connections. If timing feels agonizingly slow, trust the divine rhythm. Ripeness matters more than haste. Fruit plucked too early withers. Heaven waits for the perfect moment to nourish multitudes. Prayer as alignment, inviting angelic protection. Lean into prayer now, not as frantic desperation, but as deliberate alignment with the divine frequency. Speak simply, from the heart, Father, vindicate me according to your word. Surround me with angelic hosts. Let truth prevail. You are heard instantly, met in the secret place. Protection does not arrive fashionably late, it is already positioned, an invisible shield forged in eternity. You may feel the shift before visible evidence appears. Tension easing from your shoulders like melting ice, thoughts sharpening into crystal clarity, intrusive memories fading like morning mist. This is no mere imagination, it is angelic confirmation, a foretaste of glory. Remember this above all, you were never the problem. You were the proof, living testament that integrity thrives under pressure. Proof that chosen silence is strength, not surrender. Proof that light needs no human permission to expose hidden shadows. Stand steady now. Feet planted firm on the rock, back straight with royal bearing, voice clean and resonant. The battle you feared has already tilted toward resolution, not through brute force, but through perfect alignment with heaven's will. The quiet door to freedom, step forward. The door that swings open next may appear utterly ordinary, a job offer in quiet disguise, a reconciliation whispered over coffee, an opportunity emerging from daily routine. Do not underestimate its power. True freedom rarely bursts in with spectacle, trumpets blaring. It arrives softly, like dawn creeping over the horizon, then stretches wide into boundless possibility. Step through without a backward glance. Rest where divine rest is lavishly offered, in green pastures by still waters. Rise where rising is required, fueled by resurrection power. The great turning is already underway, orchestrated by unseen hands. Victory does not rush headlong into frenzy, but neither does it retreat. It advances steadily, claiming every territory promised. Angels stand sentinel now, their presence a gentle hum in your spirit. They whisper one final affirmation: you are vindicated. You are free. The light within you grows brighter, drawing others from darkness. Carry this truth into every encounter, every breath. Your story, once silenced, now echoes eternally, a beacon for the weary, a blueprint for breakthrough. Walk in it. Live it. Own it.